Good evening. I hereby call to order the June 23rd, 2021 meeting of the Gaithersburg Historic District Commission. For the record, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, this meeting is being remotely telecast, so please bear with any of the bumps in the road that we may encounter. For our roll call, please answer present when I call your name. Community Planning Manager Greg Mann.
Present.
Deputy City Attorney Frank Johnson.
Present.
Planner 2 Chris Berger.
Present.
Commissioner Mark Feinstein.
Present.
Commissioner Rudy Morgan.
Present.
Commissioner and Vice Chairman John Roddy.
Present.
Commissioner Mary Jo LaFrance.
Present.
Alternate Commissioner Olivier Cote.
Present.
And myself, Commissioner and Chairman Dean Ventola, says present. Okay, before we begin, I'm sorry. First is we have a quorum, but before we begin the rest of the meeting, I would like to make two announcements. The first is that alternate Commissioner Rudy Morgan has been promoted to full commissioner. It's well deserved because Rudy always brings his A game to every single meeting. So please join with me in giving him an ovation. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Well, you're welcome. We are delighted to have you join us. You really are great. Rudy's promotion brings me to the second announcement, which is the opening for an alternate commission. So I'd like to introduce the newest member of the Gaithersburg Historic District Commission, Mr. Olivier Cote. Among other applicable accomplishments, Mr. Cote is a proud resident of Gaithersburg's historic district, has successfully restored 2 historic properties, has a working knowledge of the Secretary of Interior standards for historic preservation, and in his own field of study, he has earned more than 20 international awards and scholarships. Please join me in welcoming Olivier with an ovation.
Thank you.
Very good. All right. And so Commissioner Cote's role tonight is as an alternate commissioner. Next is our preliminary statement, which is as follows. This commission is empowered to meet and act under Article 12 of the City Code of Gaithersburg. The technical qualifications of the staff of this commission and the members of the commission are on file with the City of Gaithersburg, are available on request to any applicant, and are hereby made a part of the legal record of each and every application heard today. Each application heard today is considered on its own merits and is not to be considered as establishing precedent for any other application. Okay, does anyone have any conflicts of interest for any application being heard tonight? If so, please raise your hand and verbally indicate so. Okay, I see and hear no one. Very good. All right. So we now have 2 sets of minutes to, I guess, review and approve, or not review, approve, which are from the March 24th and the April 28th meetings. So I'll take them one at a time, get a motion and vote on it, and then we'll go to the next one. So for March 24th meeting, does any commissioner have any corrections or additions to the minutes? If so, verbally indicate such. I see and hear no one. Okay. So does somebody want to make a motion to adopt the minutes as written?
I so move.
Okay, anybody second?
Second.
Okay, very good. All right, so for the roll call, I as you read adopt the motion. Commissioner Feinstein.
Aye. Commissioner
Morgan.
Aye.
Commissioner Roddy.
Aye.
Commissioner LaFrance.
Aye.
Commissioner Cote, because you were not at either one of these meetings, if you did have a chance to review the minutes and the entire meeting prior to that the minutes reflected, you are allowed to vote on any of these items before you. But most people, if they did not attend a meeting, even though they're allowed to, generally say they abstain. So how would you vote for the March 24th minutes?
I will abstain.
Very good. And Commissioner, or myself, Commissioner Ventola says aye. Okay, very good. Next, then we have the April 28th minutes. And so does any commissioner have any corrections or additions to the minutes they'd like to see made? I see and hear no one. Very good. Okay, so may somebody make a motion? Please make a motion.
So move.
Okay, second. Anybody second?
Oh, second again.
Okay, very good. All right, so aye, nay, or abstain. Commissioner Feinstein?
Aye.
Commissioner Morgan?
Aye.
Commissioner Roddy?
Aye.
Commissioner LaFrance?
Aye.
And Commissioner Cote?
I will abstain.
Very good. And Commissioner Ventolo says aye. Very good. So March 24th passed 5-0 with one abstention. April 28th minutes passed with 5-0 with one abstention. Next, then we do not have any historic area work permits, which, by the way, I don't think we've ever had a meeting where we didn't have at least one. Does anybody recall that? I don't. So anyway, but we do have 3 tax credit applications, which I, of course, love. I love when people can get money to fix up these beautiful homes. Okay, so next is please note that the public will be invited to participate if they so desire. And so up first, we have HIST-8865-2021, which is historic tax credit certification at 26 Walker Avenue in the R90 medium density residential zone. May we have an introduction from staff?
Yes, if the tech team can please pull up page 13. The subject property was built circa 1910 and is contributing to the Brookes, Russell, and Walker Historic District. The applicants seek $2,488.73 in historic tax credits for 2 separate projects. First, the applicants paid the Skates Corporation to coat the metal shingle roof with fibrated aluminum roof coating to patch leaks in hopes of extending the roof's lifespan. The roof was previously painted, so the work was considered in-kind repair and no HOP was required. Then the applicants had contractor Keith Deal rebuild the brick chimney in kind. He also coated the metal roof proximate to the chimney. If we can next go to page 29 of the packet. So this is a Google Street View photo of 26 Walker before all the projects. As you can see, it's a 4-square with what appears to be the original metal roof, at least on the original core of the house. And next page, please. These are the before and after photos of the chimney provided by the applicant. As you can see on the left, the chimney was in rough condition and required a complete rebuild. The contractor also patched the roof near the chimney. And next page, please. And they also provided various after photos to show the roof coating work. And if we can go to the next page, there's more patchwork. And next page. Again, more patchwork. And again, next page. And more patchwork. And joining us this evening, we have the owners of the property, Clark Day and Marie Day, if you would like to add anything else.
Welcome, guys. It's nice seeing you again.
And you are muted.
Yeah, you're on mute.
Okay, now you got
Good,
us.
we can hear you. Yep, you're on.
Okay.
So would you like to add anything to what Chris has relayed?
No,
No,
Okay.
we covered it. We sent all the papers and the pictures.
Okay.
Looks good.
Okay, very good. All right. So the public now is invited to speak. To indicate that you want to make a comment, if you're on the computer or laptop, move your mouse to the bottom center of the Zoom window, and you should see a raise hand button pop up. Click on that button, and then we can call on you. If you're dialing in on a telephone, press *9 to raise your hand. So Chris Berger, do we have anybody coming in?
I see no one.
Okay, very good. All righty. Now, I guess next is let's hear from the commissioners. When I call your name, please state your thoughts. And if you have any questions for the applicant or for Chris Berger. First up is Commissioner Feinstein.
Maybe put it between.
I think you're on mute, Mark.
Thank you.
There you go.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Yeah, it seems pretty cut and dry. I have no questions or no comments.
Okay, Commissioner Morgan.
No comments, no question.
Okay, Commissioner Roddy.
I would have a comment. I don't have any questions. I think certainly the roof and the chimney repair are essential to the integrity of the unit. I would also offer that you folks seem to have the very same turn metal shingle that I have on my house. And just a couple days ago, I discovered a possible source for replacements out in near the headwaters of the Potomac. So if you ever need, perhaps the three of us will take a little trip out there and
Good
offer.
to know. Good to know. Yes, because it's going to be sooner rather than later.
Very well.
Are the owners home?
The, I resemble that remark, sir. The two structures in question are collapsing. So I think the supply may be available shortly.
Okay,
That's all I got.
wonderful. Okay, thank you. Commissioner LaFaus.
No, I think that it certainly looks like it's certifiable to me.
Very good. All right. And I have no concerns or comments either. So, okay. Next then, I guess, let's go for a vote. That is, can somebody have present a motion to certify this tax credit application or not?
I move
Mary
that the
Jo, did you
historic,
want to say something?
That's fine. Mark can do it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you had your finger up. So go ahead, Mark.
all right, sorry about that, Mary Jo. I move that the Historic District Commission certify that the work completed at 26 Walker Avenue is eligible for the Montgomery County Historic Tax Credit Program.
May I have a second, please?
I'll
Second.
Okay, very good. All right, so let's take a vote. When I call your name, please say aye if you support the motion, and if you don't, or abstain if you
All of
wish.
a sudden, yeah.
All righty. Commissioner Feinstein,
Aye.
Commissioner Morgan,
Aye.
Commissioner Roddy,
Aye.
Commissioner O'France,
Aye.
and Commissioner Ventola says aye. So that's 5-0, unanimous. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you
It's a pleasure seeing you guys again.
as well.
Okay, next up then is we have another tax credit, which is HIST-8930-2021 Historic Tax Credit Certification at 321 Firehouse Lane in the MXD, which is the Mixed Use Development Zone. May we have an introduction from staff, please?
Yes, tech team, page 36, please. The subject property was built circa 1960 and is individually designated in the Kentlands Old Farm neighborhood. At its July 22nd, 2020 meeting, the HDC approved the replacement of the roof at 321 Firehouse Lane with HIST 8390-2020. The applicants, Alexander and Jacqueline Krakowski, paid Topper Construction $30,601 in 3 installments to replace the metal roof with a similar metal roof that is in accordance with what the HDC approved. We can next go to page 50. This is a before photo of the previous roof. If we can go to the next page, please. And here's another view of that same roof. And next page, please. This is the roof on the garage at 321 Firehouse. The replacement roof on the main house was approved to look just like this. This is what the applicants showed as their example in that historic area work permit application last summer. And next page, please. And this is another before photo, and this shows the bump out roof. Again, this is the representative example that they were showing in their application. Next page, please. And now these are the after photos. Next page. Again, they reinstalled the same snowbirds. Next page, please. Roof looks very similar to the previous. And next page, please. Here's another view, and next page. And that's it. So joining us this evening, we have one of the property owners, Jackie Krakowski. If there's anything you would like to add.
Welcome back.
Hi, thank you.
It's always a pleasure to see you.
Thank you.
Would you like to add anything to what Chris has said?
No,
Okay, very good. All right. Next then is the public is now invited to speak. To indicate if you want to make a comment, if you're on a computer or a laptop, move your mouse to the bottom center of the Zoom window and you should see a raise hand button pop up. Click on that button and then we can call on you. If you're dialing in on a telephone, please press *9 to raise your hand.
And
Do you
I
have
see no
anybody?
one wishing to speak.
Okay, very good. Let's then go on to the commissioners. When I call your name, please state your thoughts and questions for the applicant, if any. Let's see here. Commissioner Feinstein.
The roof looks great. No concerns.
Okay. Commissioner Morgan.
Oh, the work looks great. No concern.
Very good. Commissioner Roddy.
Same for me.
Okay. Commissioner LaFrance.
Ditto.
Ditto. I'll ditto your ditto. I have no concerns. This is a great project, and you guys have just really taken care of the treasure that you guys purchased, and we're just so happy that we have people like you and moving it, taking care of these homes. So next, then let's then go to have a motion. Can somebody please have a motion to certify this tax credit application or not?
I move that the Historic District Commission satisfied that the work completed at 321 Firehouse Lane is eligible for Montgomery County Historical Tax Credit Program.
May we have a second?
Second.
Second.
Very good. All right, so let's go for a vote. Aye, nay, or abstain. Commissioner Feinstein,
Aye.
Commissioner Morgan,
Aye.
Commissioner Roddy,
Aye.
Commissioner Alphonse,
Aye.
and Commissioner Ventola says aye. 5-0, motion passes. Congratulations.
Thank
And,
you.
again, pleasure to see you again. And what a beautiful home. And I love
Thank
the
you.
color. I love the color of that roof.
Yeah.
Thank
Really
you.
nice. Really nice.
Thank you.
Okay, next then is we have the third tax credit application. It is HIST 8744-2021, Historic Tax Credit Certification at 10 Brookes Avenue in the RB, which is the residential buffer zone. May we have an introduction from staff, please?
Yes, tech team, page 75, please. The craftsman style building was constructed circa 1923, and it is contributing to the Brookes, Russell, and Walker Historic District. The applicant seeks $15,404.17 in historic tax credits for 3 separate projects completed in 2020. First, the exterior of the stucco and shingle house was painted. And I'll note that after it was painted, the applicant removed the wood shingles on the left side elevation, which the HDC required the property owner to replace as part of HIST 8548-2020. The applicant initially submitted an invoice that included the cost to paint the shingles that were removed. The work on the removed shingles is not eligible for the tax credit, so the invoice was revised accordingly. And next, the wood ceiling of the front porch was replaced in kind. This included removal and replacement of the rafters and ceiling, and the new ceiling was primed and prepped. And the last project was the in-kind replacement of the front porch floorboards. The applicant initially included on the application the installation of a railing around the porch, but new construction is not eligible for the tax credit, and the invoice was also adjusted. So if we can next go to page 95, please. And these are the before photos. I believe these photos are from November of 2018. Next page, please. This is a detailed photo of the front porch. Next page, please. Here's the left side elevation. Next page, please. Here's the rear elevation. Next page. This is the right side elevation. And next page. And here's the right side elevation again. And next page. And here we are back at the front. And I believe it continues. Yeah, next page, please. And these are the after photos. So as you can see, it was painted. They installed the railing, which is not eligible. They replaced the floorboards, and they redid the ceiling on the porch. Next page, please. So this is the left side elevation. Those are the shingles that the HDC required them to reinstall the wood shingles. Next page, please. And this is the left side elevation and some of the rear elevation. Next page. This is the rear elevation, completely repainted. Next page. Another shot of the rear. Next page. And the right side elevation. Next page. And here's a close-up of the porch. Next page. And here's another photo of the porch. It shows the roof that has been redone. Next page. And here's another view of the front porch. And let's see if we have another next page, please. And here's the last view. So does anyone have any questions about this project?
I have one, and then we're going to go through everybody, I guess. Page 111 that you just had up, it appeared that the siding itself, the new siding, wasn't painted, and I'm just curious as to why.
Yeah, I've reached out to them a few times. Technically, I believe their application came before the HDC last September, I believe. Technically, they have 2 years to repaint, and I have reminded them that it is to be, the shingles were painted before, and the HDC required that the shingles be replaced in kind, wood painted, so they are required to paint them. They do have some time with that, and I have reminded them of that on a few occasions. And depending on, or after tonight's meeting, when I update them on the status of their application, I will remind them again.
Wonderful, thank you. All right, so next then, since the applicant is not here, correct?
Correct.
Then we'll go to the public. So the public is now invited to speak. To indicate that you want to make a comment, if you're on a computer or laptop, move your mouse to the bottom center of the Zoom window. And if you should see a raise hand button pop up, and you should see a raise hand button pop up. Click on the button and then we can call on you. If you're dialing in on a telephone, please press *9 to raise your hand. So do we have anybody, Chris?
No, no one has their hand raised.
Okay, so then let's hear from the commissioners. When I call your name, please state your thoughts and questions for the applicant or for Chris, if any. Commissioner Feinstein.
Dan, you had my one question, so
Oh, okay, thank you.
other than that, I think everything is appropriate for tax credit.
Okay, very good. Commissioner Morgan?
Yeah, everything looks good except the shingle, the siding, not painted. One side is painted and the other side is not painted. I kind of, I don't know if it have anything to do with the tax credit.
No,
Okay, so everything is fine with me.
it doesn't. Good point. It doesn't have anything to do with the tax credit because they're not asking for to be reimbursed for the paint that's not there yet, nor can they because it's a replacement.
Okay.
Commissioner Alphonse?
The only thing I just wanted to bring up for grins, if they were able to find an original picture of the house, my guess is that railings were there originally.
Yeah,
We just don't have any proof of it.
Yeah.
So I wish there was a way we could prove that so they could get the tax credit for the railings as well. And then I want to clarify, they did not replace the roof of the porch, but the ceiling of the porch, correct?
Correct, it was the ceiling.
Yes. So, but other than that, I'm in complete agreement with the shingles, the painting, and I am pleased to see that the shingles have been replaced in kind. And I have no problem with approving a certification.
Okay, very good. All right, and I already gave my thoughts. So now open to a motion to certify this tax credit application or not.
I move that we approve. Hold on, let me look at this real quick. Sorry about that. I move that the Historic District Commission certify that the work completed at 10 Brookes Avenue is eligible for the Montgomery County Historic Tax Credit Program.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
Very good. Okay, so let's go to a vote. Aye, nay, or abstain. Commissioner Feinstein,
Aye.
Commissioner Morgan,
Aye.
Commissioner Roddy,
Aye.
Commissioner LaFrance,
Aye.
and Commissioner Ventola says aye. So that's 5-0. It passes. Congratulations, Chris Berger, the owner's representative.
Thank you.
Next, then we have a discussion topic, which is potential text amendments to Article 12 of the Preservation of Historic Resources. May we have an introduction from staff, please?
Yes, if the tech team could please pull up page 119. And so as we wrote in the memo that's on the screen, we would like to propose changes to the preservation of historic resources section of the city code. This action was spurred by the identity property demolition application late last year and early this year, when it became apparent that the process for the HDC to withhold issuance of the permit and petition the mayor and city council for designation needed to be added to the code. And in addition to that petition to designate for demo permits, staff would also like to make other text amendments. First, we would like to codify the historic area work permit reviews that the HDC has delegated to staff. In 2019, the HDC granted staff the ability to approve some work items at a staff level. These are minor changes such as tree removals, fences, and the addition of signage. We have a memo that states these items, but we'd like to add these items to the code. For our next addition, we'd like to modify the de-designation process for locally designated historic properties. Staff is concerned that it's too difficult to remove designation of properties that were designated for the wrong reasons or that they no longer meet the criteria for designation. A historic resource can only be demolished. A designated historic resource can only be demolished if there is a detriment, if it is a deterrent to a major improvement program that will benefit the city. But staff would like to discuss easing the designation removal requirements as well. We'd also like to remove the code section on impact review areas. If you recall, impact reviews are properties adjoining historic resources where the HDC may make recommendations to the Planning Commission on site development applications. They must be approved first by the mayor and city council, and the code section on impact review areas was implemented in 1996, and the mayor and city council has never approved any impact review areas. The HDC last requested the mayor and city council implement impact review areas in 2018 for 14 commercial and industrial properties. But staff is confident that the existing code requirements and site plan review process will limit the effect any potential development may have on properties that adjoin historic resources. And finally, we'd like to alter various definitions and processes just to improve clarity. So no changes have been proposed yet. A joint work session with the mayor and city council and planning commission is scheduled later this summer for August 23rd. And they're going to discuss potential amendments. The mayor and city council and planning commission are the only two boards that can attend public hearings on text amendment changes. The planning commission offers recommendations to the mayor and city council, and the mayor and city council, of course, is the final arbiter. So staff anticipates that the two boards after that August 23rd meeting will want to amend the code, and a joint public hearing between the two will be scheduled. So of course, staff will update the HDC after the August 23rd work session and throughout the process, and will provide the commission with the opportunity to comment on any proposed text amendments. So that's all I have. Greg, I don't know if you want to add anything more on that.
Nothing more at this point.
So with that, I will turn it over to the HDC with any questions or comments you may have.
Yeah, okay, then let me say, when I call your name, please give your thoughts or questions or comments to staff. Commissioner Feinstein?
I had a couple questions specifically about the, I guess, the decertification proposal, and what language are you looking to modify specifically, and why?
I think it will be more of an addition of language. Right now, we have the process to allow the demolition of a designated property, but there's no real language for a designated property just to remove designation. Of course, we don't want to make it easy to remove designation. It needs to be a difficult process, and the HDC would be involved in any part of that process. It would be a triple public hearing, much like the process to designate, but we would like to add that to the code.
Yeah, I was trying to find an example, like a real world type of an example where something like this would happen, and I couldn't really figure out how, like, to practically understand it. And if you had an example, Chris, or if there was something that was more tangible, that would be helpful.
And I think one of the examples we were thinking about was if a property did get demoed for, let's say, neglect or whatever reason it is, the property would not be de-designated. It would still be designated and require review from the HTC for anything moving forward, even though the structure which was designated is no longer on the property. So that's an example of at least what we're thinking, that there's really no avenue in the code currently to remove that designation.
That's a great comment, a great reason to de-designate, because you're just, at that point, it's just the land without the building. And yeah, I mean, there's no real historic nature to land because it's all multi-million years old when you think about it. But that's a great example. I would support that.
Yeah, it's just a matter of how it gets, how always the demolition by neglect is always one of those. I understand that there's applications for it, but the key is trying not to get to the point where it's utilized as a way to get the building itself de-designated.
Do you suppose somebody would want to do that?
Yeah, we're certainly aware of that. The demolition by neglect, we want to avoid situations like that. So yes, this process would take that into consideration.
Mm-hmm.
Good comments, Mark. Anything further before we move on?
No, those are our main concerns.
All right, Commissioner Morgan?
I don't have any comment. I think what Mark questioned, I think maybe it need more exploring. And it's kind of open. It's like a lot of gray area. So I think it need more exploring.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Roddy?
I share Commissioner Feinstein's concerns. A lot depends on the details of the wording. This is a reflection of the standard zoning change or mistake bar that is often argued and has been for the last 40 or 50 years. So a lot depends on what the wording is. In theory, I don't disagree with the possibility of decertification, but a lot does depend on how it's put.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner LaFrance?
I hope you'll be patient with me if we can just go step by step. I have a couple of things. Sorry, I'm rattling the paper. I'll start where Mark left off, because obtrurances of the property are also included in historic designation, and sometimes land itself can be historically valuable. So obviously this would have to be on a case-by-case basis. I mean, the Y site, for instance, is historically designated and it has simple train tracks on it. So certainly I would hope that there be a step-by-step process with guidelines and strict adherence if a de-designation was proposed, because the entire property and possibly even outbuildings and so on would have to be considered. So I fear the wording that says to discuss easing the designation removal. Easing is the word that frightens me. I actually would like to see, as I said, some strict adherences to certain guidelines versus easing. Maybe it could clarify for everyone what the process should in fact be, and it shouldn't be confusing. And I do agree with maybe some changing in the wording. And then I wanted to ask, let's see, well, the same question as Mark. Okay, so another question I have that's sort of related to this. We had an application of a house that was not historically designated. But then there's mention of the master plan in this document. Isn't it inappropriate for the HTC to consider the city's master plan when looking at a property that's over 50 years old? And if that's true, that we just look at the evidence, we decide that this property has potential for historic designation, what of the master plan? How familiar should we as HDC be with the master plan?
So I believe that language would be more aligned with the Planning Commission and the Mayor and City Council. As you know, the process, we'd have the triple public hearing. The HDC's scope would be limited to the preservation of historic resources. Is it architecturally or culturally significant? Any master plan, anything along those lines would be under the purview of the Planning Commission and the Mayor and City Council.
Just wanted some clarification on that. And then the other thing too, I wanted to mention is in the future, if a building over 50 years old comes before us that we have or have not considered for possible historic designation, and the city's staff's recommendation is that the architecture is run of the mill and not that special, I would appreciate if other examples of the same architecture in the city that we already have that's historically designated be included in the record, because it's one thing to say so, and it's another thing to have evidence to view. So I think that would be another step in our process that would improve our ability to judge these cases and to make better decisions. And then let's see, obviously to codify administrative approval is important. So I'm definitely for that. And I guess my only other concern is that we know the staff at the city now, but we don't know the staff that's going to be using these guidelines in the future. So that's why I'd like to see strict guidelines set for the undesignation of a property. So it would reassure me that any future staff would in fact have clear guidelines that they have to adhere to in the future. And I think that's all I have. Thank you, gentlemen.
Wonderful, very thorough. You really thought this through, and you are worried, aren't you?
Yeah.
Chris, am I correct that Commissioner Cote can speak, right?
He can, yes.
Okay, Commissioner Cote, your turn. You're up.
Of course, I think for me, I won't repeat what has been said, but is a little bit of the same concern in terms of the certification and the wording easing. I think what I'd like not to see is a domino effect, or having issues where you have central versus peripheral, where you're starting to having property diminishing, or having reducing the zone or the district that we have actually. So I think it's just a concern of being careful about easing and mostly about how we're going to do. But I'm sure there's going to be review and we can always deal that internally. So that's about it for myself.
Wonderful, thank you. And I have no further comments. Everything everybody said is very valid and thorough. Okay, very good. Next then is, before we move on, does anybody want to throw anything further in? Any other thoughts? Any other concerns?
I'm sorry,
Yes, Mary Jo?
I did forget to address specifically the impact review area. And I have some concerns about that as well. Again, so that's something that can protect our historic resources in perpetuity. And we know the staff now, but what about futuristically? And what has been the holdup? Why hasn't the mayor and council approved the impact review area?
Staff delivered the HDC's comments in 2018 to the appropriate city manager's office. They're the next step, and it was not put on the agenda for a future meeting. So my understanding is there is no desire to pursue it further.
Should we resubmit it, or have you been told by somebody that there's no desire?
Greg, I don't know if you have any more insight into that than I do.
Again, I don't. Like I said, Chris said, we've had this section of the code on the books for a number of years now, and it's never been enacted. And again, it does require a legislative action by the mayor and city council to set those boundaries. And so again, like this is just the first steps. We're just going to bring it to the Marion City Council and the Planning Commission just to see what their thoughts are on it as well. If they want to make changes to that section of the code, if we want to strike it from the code, or we just want to leave it as is. So again, at the end of the day, the next steps for us right now is just to identify areas that may need to be changed in the code, and then to see what the Mayor and City Council and the Planning Commission would like to further pursue with a formal text amendment.
Great, thank you. Thank you both.
Okay, with no other further thoughts, we'll move on. Okay, next then is from staff. Do we have any thoughts or announcements from staff?
I have nothing to add other than to say happy 4th of July coming up. It's summer's going
Thank you.
by quickly already.
Happy 4th of July.
That's going to be wonderful. Thank you. All right, Greg or Frank, you're both on mute, but do you have anything?
Nothing for me tonight.
Thank you.
I don't have anything tonight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, next then is anything from the commissioners? I'll go down the line. Anything, Mark?
Just welcome to Olivier and congrats to Rudy.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Rudy?
I don't have anything further to say.
John?
So this meeting.
I'm sorry, did I cut you off? What did you say? I didn't hear it.
This is the shortest meeting so far.
I know, this is not bad. Do you have a time on it so far?
It's exactly it.
Okay, Mary Jo, you're next.
No, thank you. Thank you all. And congratulations again to both of you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so
And
much.
Olivier?
Nothing to add. Thank you
Okay,
very much for having me.
Okay, and I don't have anything to add either. Going last time, anybody want to throw in any further thoughts? Okay, we are hereby adjourned.